Hi everyone, and this video covers the student group Markbook set up for curriculum staff. So the Markbook can be used to record grades for unit assessments and tasks, and there's also actually an option to add overall grades, which was added during the COVID pandemic. But it can still be used. It may be useful if you need that level above the unit level. Rules can be applied to the mark book and follow the module specification. So weightings and calculations can be automatically applied, and the mark book assessment progress can be automatically graded based on, for example, how many P, M, and D um, criteria are met. So if the students met all of the P criteria, you would tick those. But then if the students met all the merit criteria, you would also tick those. And then if they've met the P, M, and D criteria, you would then also tick the Ds. And if configured correctly, then this will automatically grade the unit above, or so yeah, the unit above, and also the assessment as either P, M, or D. So if they've met all D criteria for all assessments, the unit would be a D. But if they've met everything for some assessments, not others, then those assessments that are all D would be graded as D. The ones that aren't would be graded as POM, and then the overall would be graded as something less than D, because obviously all the assessments are not D. So, um, but every course is different, and it depends on the setup of the course and the specification. So, but if set up correctly, the Markbook should be able to replace all of your spreadsheets that you may be creating for tracking student progress. Um, so the Markbook is also a secure way of storing the data, and it's centrally stored so that the students can also see their progress, which isn't possible so easily with spreadsheets, especially if they've got different courses that they're doing at the college, and then this way they can see everything in one place. And then also, if the Markbook is set up following the off-course specification, you could import that information into post-solution exams to save having to give exams the information again. So that's also a benefit of it as well. So it should replace manual spreadsheets, but do all the same calculations that you have on those spreadsheets. And also, when set up once, it will work for future years. So it's worth the setup. So this guide covers viewing the student group Markbook, how to find and import units, because when you teaching a new course, the Markbook won't be set up. You'll have to add the units, but if you know the learning aim and the learning aim is attached to the course, which it should be, all you have to do is click on Find Unit. All the units are displayed. Pick the ones that you're teaching, and then press to import them, and then that's them then on the Markbook available to students and for you to put the grades in. So we start by going to the student group Markbook, which on the front page of ProMonitor, you go to, if you're teaching the group, you go to My Student Groups, and then you go to the group. If you are not teaching the group, then refer to the first video, which tells you how to add that to your list of student groups. So go to your student group, and then when you're on your student group, go to the Markbook menu, and then go to Markbook by group, and then you'll see there's nothing there. So then you want to add the missing units, set the Markbook up because at the moment there's nothing there. So change Markbook structure. If you go to that option there, and then you got to click here to access the course maintenance, which is referred to as the brown section because it's brown. And then this shows the unit screen where you can add units, and then you see at the top right it says find unit, and then on the depending on your setup, if your ProMonitor is set up more completely than this test one, then the learning game will be attached to the course already, and you'll be able to just then press search at the bottom, and it'll just take you on to the next screen. But because it's not, we've got to type it in. So if I just type in, either you can type in the learning aim here, which you can type in if you know the learning aim, or you can find it over here by typing in the title of the qualification, and that's a qualification from the Find a Learning Aim. But if you don't know, if you're not sure as well, you can also search by the Find a Learning Aim. The paper copy of this guide has the web address on, but if you go to a new web tab and go to um, that, and then Find a Learning Aim, and search for blended diploma in engineering. You can type anything in here, doesn't matter, but I'll turn off caps lock as well. And then here are some learning aims. We'll do technical, extended diploma in engineering technologies level 3 for the EAL. Copy that learning aim, come out of there, go back to the other tab, paste that in there. Or you could type it in here as well, but I'll put it in there and search for it. Then it comes up down here. So if your learning aim had been attached to your course, you wouldn't have had to have done this step. It would have just been here. You could have just ticked that and then press next. Now I've probably picked a bad example here because this has only got one one unit against it. Um, let's go back and find another one that's got a bit more. So if we do Edexcel, BTEC National Extended Diploma in Manufacturing Engineering, go for that one. Ah, one in, search for that one, and then tick that, and you can see there's 38 units. That's a bit better. Press next, and then it shows here all the units available to be selected. So it's best to use the opqual unit code if you're going to be importing this, if you're going to be giving this to exams to import into their system. But if you are not doing, then the awarding body unit code is a bit easier to understand because you change it. I'll just say that it's not really, but often it just says unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, so it's simpler, but those are quite long as well. But these are the best ones to use. So if you just tick some units to that one and engineering principles, and then you can see also on the right and the level, the hours. So some are bigger, like that's 120 hours, that's 60 hours. That's the guided learning hours, and then press next, and then go to view units here once they're done, and you'll see then these units are then here and can be now be marked. So if you go back to the course up here and details, and into the student group, back to the Markbook by group, then you can see now this is created, and you could now put in obviously people's grades against this course. So um, and then you can then save that, and that's those grades now recorded. Yeah, thinking what I need to cover. So you can also manually add units as well. So if you go back to the pin bubble structure, back to access course maintenance, then you've got the units here. Rather than going to find units, you can just add a unit here if you wanted sort of a unit for something else like say extra project, and then you can create that one. I'm going to put level in, so level 3, and that's now created that one as well. You see it's ordered them by the unit code. When you're creating these, it's best to create them. If you've got unit 1, 2, 3, 4, best to do 0, 1, 0, 2, because otherwise once you get to 9, then you add 10. It sorts by text values, so you end up with 10 coming after 1 but before 2. And if you put O1 and O2, it sorts them in the correct order. If you're using the more textual sort of more descriptive Unicodes, that are more easily understandable. So that's adding units. And then you can also assign different units to different students, which can also be useful. If you want to do that, go to task allocation. No, sorry, hang on a second. Yeah, sorry, no, I was saying the wrong thing. Go back to the hmm, structure. I need to go back to change Markbook structure. So back to the course, student group, and then go to the Markbook, and then that's the Markbook there. And then need to change the Markbook structure. And then on this screen, you can have units for the whole group allocated, or if different students are doing different modules, perhaps on a course where some are optional, they can choose different options. Then so that they don't show on the ones that they're not doing, look like they're missing grades, you can untick for this student, for example, that module if they're not doing that one. And then you can, but by default, it adds a unit to each student. And then you can also do it the other way, where you say for each unit, you can take off, choose a unit and take off the student from that unit. It's just a different way of doing it. That then sets that. And then if you want to add a set, this is only added units so far, which is at the top level. If you want to add assessments and tasks, they go underneath the unit. So then you've got to go to the maintenance bit again. So again, easiest way to do it is just go here. I didn't make any changes, so I can just leave that. And then that's the maintain units. But then underneath maintain units, you've got maintain assessments, maintain tasks. So if you go to assessments, these don't import. You do have to create these manually. But then once they're created once, they stay there. So pick the unit, and then we could just say something like add a new one. It might be assessment one. I've done this before, as you can see. And then you can pick what type it is, such as if it's an assignment, an exam, or some practical work. And then save that, and that creates an assessment. And that's an assessment that's now underneath that unit. And the other point to consider is if you want to set the student group type, because this at the moment we're just creating a markup that doesn't essentially have any automation against it, and that covered it more in the next video. But if you want to set a student group type, if you go back to the student group home page, which is basically your course details, that one, student group, and then it says the type here is a foundation degree. So if you were to press on that, you can then change it. So this shows you the details of a foundation degree and what the marking scheme is. And this one, it has when the average complete assessment percentage is as a unit mark. So use the average complete assessment, and if all assessments are completed, the unit is completed. And there's lots of different rules that can be applied, and we go into that more in the next video. And you can maintain the student group from this screen, and you can pick a different type of course, such as, say, a BTEC course, QCF diploma. So we'll do level 3 extended diploma, and then save that. Go back to the Markbook by group, and then look at the Markbook rules again, and you'll see there's a bit more in there now. So that says, but at the top of the Markbook, when all P tasks are completed, grade unit of P, and there's some other rules there as well. And then again, if you want to see the unit marking scheme, you can press on there, and that tells you the grades, the equivalent value, the points, and then the level. And that's all based around the student group type. So that is then going to but it can apply certain rules. So when assessments are marked, it can automatically grade the unit and that kind of thing. You see now tasks are available when they weren't before. And if you go to the student group type again on details and go to the type, that's where you get the summary of the grading schemes as well. So you get same information, but it's there's a bit more information than there is on the other screen because you see it's quite long that with lots of information. And then again, you've got the overall marking scheme, which is triple grade, and you've got the unit marking scheme, which is single grade. And so depending on that, that sort of automatically grades the course. And if this information is not correct, then you can either pick a different student group type, or if you can't find one that's suitable, then if you ask the quality department, they should be able to. They may need to set one up for you. Or you can also speak to the MAS department, but I mean they'll point you in the direction of who can help you to get this corrected, and so you can have it set up correctly for the year and for future years as well. So that covers that should cover everything. Just double check. And yeah, so if the course code remains the same each year, then all the work you've done to set up the unit will be retained against this course. So when you next year when you teach this group, you just have to turn on the units and then everything's there. But if your course code changes, such as if the learning game changes, in which case you'd probably have a different specification anyway. You've got to go back to finding the units to attach them again. But it means that once you've done all this work once to set up everything correctly, it should be set up for future years when you teach the same course. So I hope that was useful, and also look at the introductory video, which kind of goes over the introduction to ProMonitor, and the next one, which goes over the some of the automated rules that can be set up on the Markbook.